Why hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as Lego Dude 11, and in today's video, this is my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, as mentioned, this is my review, spoiler review, I forgot to say that, my spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I do have my list of a little bit of housekeeping. I do have my list of notes here that I did take down on the movie just a second before making this video. And I did see the movie today, a few hours ago, or depending on how time-wise I saw it, earlier at 1:35 today. Had some dinner, came back, and made these notes and made this review, or making this review. So I saw this with my friend, another housekeeping item. If you want to click that card up there, you can watch our vlog of the movie. It's a bit longer, it's about 20 minutes. I did happen to get our thoughts on the movie, and then after I shared my thoughts, I said, hey, I kind of want to discuss it. With Star Wars weekend. May the 4th happened last week, so I was like, let's ramble. Let me tell you my thoughts on Mandalorian Season 3 as well as Lucasfilm. I had some jumbled thoughts, and if you want to hear our thoughts on both Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 / Lucasfilm and Star Wars, what's going on in the Star Wars Lucasfilm land, you can hear us talk about that as well, so be sure to check out that video popping up right now. Alright, so let's kick off my review on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This score, as I always talk about with my reviews, the score and soundtrack, this is unlike anything. I don't want to sound like I'm biased because I love music and stuff and scores and stuff. I listen to soundtracks a lot. Like, people ask me, what type of music do I listen to? I like to listen to movie soundtracks. I listen to real life artists, composers and stuff. And there's songs in here that I really like. But the composer specifically, John Murphy, it's not the same composer who did Guardians 1 and 2. And I feel like you can kind of feel that in this film, and it doesn't departure, like, take you out of it like it's not a Guardians movie, but it's just different. It's the guy who did The Suicide Squad that James Gunn did, and Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I quite liked. And I could tell that, oh, it's this guy. It's a new person. There's some moments where you can hear the Guardians of the Galaxy theme, and overall, I just like this soundtrack. And there's certain songs in there like Dog Days Are Over, Crazy on You by Heart, Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine, Crazy on You by Heart, No Sleep Till Brooklyn by Beastie Boys, Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. That was the last song in the movie. Creep acoustic version by Radiohead, and then just Flamin' Lips, Do You Realize? Just songs. Soundtrack's so good. There's a couple other songs that I'd never heard before, but work so well in this movie. It's so good. I love it. I love the score that they added, the soundtrack, and the score done by John Murphy. Good stuff there. Tyler Bates does a good job in the first two movies, but doing this, I would have liked to hear what Tyler Bates would have done, but it's okay. I think John Murphy, since he's done two other James Gunn projects, James Gunn was like, come do this one. So, okay. Moving along, the story and the characters in this one, it's a Guardians. I'm not sounding like, the characters were going to be bad, but you never know, like, especially with the Marvel film now, going along with Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, the characters in that were kind of wasted. Like, it just was a weird movie overall, but this movie, the characters actually get time to shine, each one of them, and grow, kind of like the first two movies did. They grow, there's new characters in this. I don't want to be, each of Guardians, they act like a family. I want to say right now that the first, I heard this somewhere, I don't know, from different people, that the first film kind of acted as Gamora and Nebula's storyline, kind of like those two characters, like sisters, and Gamora's standpoint, with Thanos and Ronan the Accuser, kind of felt like a mother storyline, because of how the mother died, and then the second one was father, and this one's coming to the self, like realizing you're coming into inner family. And the first one was Gamora's storyline, the second one was Peter's storyline, and this one's Rocket's storyline. Very fascinating. And the characters just themselves bring a lot of gravitas to them, a lot of emotion and weight to them. And I feel like the second one, rewatching the second one, the first two before this movie, is people like, the second one's not good, it has a lot of comedy. But looking back on Thor: Love and Thunder, The Multiverse of Madness, and Quantumania, I think those relied a lot more on forced jokes than this one did on the Guardians jokes, which in Guardians 2, which is James Gunn jokes, I think they have something completely different in my mind. And I think me and my friends would agree, my friend that went and saw the movie with me, would totally agree on that. I think James Gunn has a different level of humor in his movies in 2 and 3, Volume 2, and especially the first Guardians, than, like, Taika Waititi's Thor Love and Thunder does. Totally different, and I love it so much. But the characters, like, there's a new character, Adam Warlock, who's introduced at the end of Volume 2 that seems to be kind of wasted here. When I was talking with him after the movie, my friend, and he goes, he kind of didn't really need to be in this movie. He's kind of just there to be there, but he does serve a little bit of purpose. He has a little bit of an arc at the end when he sacrifices, when he goes to save Peter Quill, when he almost thought Peter Quill was going to die. I'm like, okay, he's not going to die because I know he's in the end credits scene. I already know what happens in the end credits scene, but I'm like, I know he's not going to die. So who saves him? Then Adam Warlock flies in, and he's in space, and like saves them there. He comes back on the ship. I'm like, okay, great, we're there. Brings him out of nowhere. And Kraglin's great, Cosmo's great. They both get some time to shine. Nebula is great in this role. Karen Gillan kills it. And Jakuti Iwuji as High Evolutionary, as the villain, knocks it out of the park. He's a great villain. I love, the first villain, the Guardians, Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy is great. Then Ego steps it up. I love the Ego character. Just great. As the father and son in the second one, and then this one with High Evolutionary as the Jakuti Iwuji as a High Evolutionary as the villain. It's amazing. He was also, that actor was also in Peacemaker, the John Cena Peacemaker series that James Gunn did. So really good stuff there. I like seeing him back as coming back for another James Gunn project. So the story in this one, this is Rocket's origin, and I was so happy that. I don't like to theorize much with any movie, even Marvel, and I kind of had my theories about Quantumania with MODOK and this and that, but then it kind of got pushed away once I saw the movie. I'm like, okay, this was not anything I expected it to be. But Guardians, I didn't have many theories, but the only thing I wanted was, after seeing how Guardians 2 ended with Rocket's face before the credits, and it says Guardians of the Galaxy will return when Yondu's death scene happens, and you see all the Ravager funeral happen, and you see Rocket's face, and he's crying. Like, okay, this would be a good time for, at the book ending, you see Rocket's face, and Guardians 3 is about Rocket's origin. I hope that they start the movie with Rocket in some way, like showing Rocket's face or raccoons. And they did exactly that. And I was so happy. I'm like, my dreams have come true. They've listened to me. I don't know if Kevin Feige heard my prayers and I was like, Kevin Feige, Lord, please listen to me. And I was like, oh, yes, it was so good. But then just from there, I loved it. They started the movie, they played Creep, and they did all this stuff, and I was just in love with it. And now some people might not like this, that they do some cruelty to animals and all this stuff, and with Rocket and Rocket's friends, the whole flashback with our Rocket's friends and the animals, and them getting, it didn't look creepy, but it was like they had like these mechanical things on them, like on their face. A rabbit had a thing on their face, and there's some mechanical arms, and because we know that Rocket's cyber engineered, I can't even speak English. I can't even speak anymore, guys. he's cyberly engineered, and it was really neat to learn about that with his friends. And I'm like, man, some of this can get kind of grotesque for some people, but it is what it is. Especially at the end with the High Evolutionary getting his face ripped off. That was the most grotesque thing, but I take that with what you will. There's a lot of arcs in this movie. As I mentioned, the characters have a lot of just development and weight to them. I don't really know how I want to get into this. I mean, this is a spoiler review, but I'm trying to think of like how I say this. Because each of the characters, like in this first act, when you see not High Evolutionary, when you see Adam Warlock, they play the song "Crazy on You," and it's like, okay, Rocket's listening to the song, and all of a sudden you see Adam Warlock flying. It's like, yeah, crazy on you, let's go. Like, oh look, there's Adam Warlock. I thought it was a spaceship flying in space. Like I thought it was a spaceship. Like, oh, there's Adam Warlock. Cool, what's gonna happen? All of a sudden, bam, comes and punches Rocket Raccoon through the window, through the room, and then a whole action scene happens, and it's awesome. I love all the action scenes that happen, but it's awesome. And I'm thinking, wow, this is intense. Like, this movie is intense. Like, if you think Guardians 1 and 2 was intense, like, I remember Spider-Man No Way Home, people were like, man, this is the bloodiest Spider-Man movie yet. And it was like, this is intense. Like, this is the most intense Guardians movie yet. Like, because Guardians 2 had that intense moment of, like, ego, when it was like, but it didn't seem bloody. It just seemed, there are intense moments in Marvel, but this is just so tense. There's lots of tense moments with Adam Warlock, with the High Evolutionary. There's a lot of yelling in this movie, but it's not so, like, if you think you get a headache by just people yelling at you, man, like, the High Evolutionary yells. But I don't know. It's great acting from him, from Chikuti Iwuji. Just chef's kiss. I want to see him in more stuff, man. Him as the villain, like, I don't know what else he is gonna be in, but seeing him in Peacemaker and then seeing him in this, I'm like, man, you need to. He's like, give him an Academy Award right now for this movie, man. He's great. Because I don't know if any of the Guardians actors have won an Academy Award for anything, or even Guardians movies, but the villain needs to win an award. Chikuti Iwuji needs to win an award. So, I don't know. I don't know how else to talk about arcs. Just, I don't know. The jokes, the humor landed. I didn't even write this down. The humor landed for me, as I mentioned before. Just James Gunn humor works for me. I don't know. I'm in awe of this movie, guys. I feel like I spent so much time talking about it with my friend. Rocket just, again, his friends. Drax is so funny. I feel like Drax is one of those things, though. When he talks about his family, he almost dies, and is like, he talks about his daughter and his wife, how they got killed by Ronin, similar to the first one, and he's funny in this one, but I don't feel like it's as comical as the last one. What I like about this movie is that Drax and Mantis pair off on each other so well, and it's like the second one. They kind of have this comedy. They have this banter, but it's like the holiday special. It's not like in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where it's like Drax pops his bubble and is like, kind of like Patrick or Seth Rogen laugh. But it's like he's actually serious this time, which I really, really, really like. And I think some people might agree, some people might disagree, but it's fine. It's whatever. I just really like that. I just like in this one how Guardians, how they have a home on nowhere, how they all have a home together, how they all have these costumes and they all fit together with these people. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wasn't bad. I love it a lot, but it feels like that they found their home. I mean, and this is a great ending of it. It's a great ending to it. I might want to kick off my notes on this. My note on the trilogy is that, as I said before, the first one was mother, the second one was father, this one is coming to self. But the first one, they formed the Guardians. The second one, they are the Guardians, going to ego, going all over the place, right? Like having this massive space battle with the Sovereign, then they go off to somewhere. They're not on nowhere yet, but after, forget Avengers Endgame, or Infinity War and Endgame, but they're crucial with the Guardians, but forget those. And then once we get to Guardians 3, they're on nowhere. They have this home. It's like that they're together now, and it's like when I say I have a family of my own, it's like I'll find a wife, I'll have kids, we have a home, we have a foundation. They have their foundation in nowhere, right? That is awesome. It's like, they didn't meet each other. In the first one, they meet each other. The second one, they have Baby Groot. I'm just making this up as an example. They have Baby Groot. They have a child. They have these conflicts that they have to come through, like every family does. And then in the third one, they have a home finally. They have that foundation. They found themselves, just like every family does. I think that's so special, so emotional. This movie's so emotional. I cried a couple times. I got teary-eyed a couple times, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I love these moments. I laughed. I cried. I was jamming with the songs. My friend was like, yeah, I cried a couple times too. I'm like, yeah, good. Yeah, my friend got teary-eyed a couple times, and I'm like, that's good. You should have. This was the movie that was gonna make you, like, I heard things about it. Like, I was, even before I heard like these reviews and the what the score was on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, it's going to make me cry. I know it is. Just like Spider-Man No Way Home did. I knew, even before Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in the movie, I'm like, this movie's going to make me cry. Because it's an end. It's not the end of Spider-Man, but it's a crucial, pivotal point in this hype. Because we know there's going to be a Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland coming, but whether or not Spider-Man 4 makes me cry or not, I knew that No Way Home was a pivotal hype moment. And whether or not, because at the end of this movie we see a tagline that there might be a future, which I'll get to later, but I don't know if the future is going to make me cry as much because, oh look, there's a character returning. But this was the ending of a significant Guardians era that was perfect to the trilogy. It just feels like the trilogy all tied up from beginning to end was so strong. I know people don't like Guardians 2, but that's whatever. I think the whole trilogy works in my opinion. I hold it in my heart. Look, I'm wearing this shirt. I just love it. And I don't want to get sidetracked from Guardians, but the Spider-Man universe is awesome. The Tom Holland cohesiveness is awesome. Because John Watts is the director for all the Tom Holland movies, for all three. And James Gunn is the director for all three Guardians movies. Some of the different MCU trilogies haven't really worked for me, but I think this one is my favorite MCU trilogy, without the Spider-Man one, because that's Sony. If some people are like, oh, but that's not the MCU, it's like, okay, whatever. Real MCU, it's Guardians. In general of all Marvel, it's, well, Tobey Maguire and then, a couple Spider-Man trilogies, but you see what I mean. Alright, back to Guardians. Yeah, there's just so much I could talk about. There's the beginning battle with Adam Warlock. My voice cracked. There's a video, and then there's also this great scene with Nathan Fillion when they're going to rescue, when they're going to get this code, and Gamora helps them. Gamora's in this movie a little bit. I forgot to mention, Zoe Saldana's in this movie. She kind of had a part. I really didn't like that she was in this movie, actually. I forgot to mention this with my friend. I really didn't like that she was in this movie, more than I think about it. I just felt like there was no resolution. Like, oh, yeah, you're from a different timeline. And I wanted them to, fly off at James Gunn, Peter Quill, Chris Pratt, and Zoe Saldana, fly off into the sunset now that they love each other again. But it was like, yeah, you're just there, and you're cool, and you did stuff. And it was like, alright, but she kind of had an arc. Some people might disagree. I just feel like she was she wasn't as bad as Adam Warlock. She had more to do. But it was like, she had some stuff to do, but it was like, alright, but if she wasn't in the movie, would the movie still be good? Yeah. The movie still would have had, you could have still done the movie without her? Yeah. So, I don't know. I liked her there. I liked the actress. I thought it was funny. I liked the stuff that she did, because she was like, oh, I'm not in love with you, Peter Quill. You sounds like you're in love with Gamora, or Nebula, It's like, you're not in love with them. So, I'm not in love with Nebula. I was in love with you. It's like, no. Okay, it's fun. And then Nathan Fillion was there in the scene. It was pretty cool, because he was also in the Suicide Squad movie. He got killed as the TDK, the detachable kid. I like seeing him in here. Ratcatcher 2 from the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn was also in this movie as the pink lady who they were in the elevator with when Gamora had the gun to her head. So that was cool to see that actress in here. Yeah, I love that whole prison scene in there. Another prison scene like the first movie, but it was different setting. Really colorful visuals and effects, and the whole Among Us scene, where they're in the spacesuits, was kind of neat and everything. Yeah, the Bowie is a very unique ship. I like it. I don't like it as much as the Milano. I just feel like it's not as classic, but yeah, I don't have an issue with it. But overall, I don't want to make it this too long. The end final battle with the High Evolutionary is awesome. Groot, I gotta mention this before. I just had so many thoughts. I could ramble on, but the whole final battle. I'm glad that Rocket was there. There's so many slow motion shots that are awesome, by the way, with the shooting and the action, going under and everything, with Gamora's arm, the effects on Nebula and detaching her parts and going with her arm, and when Groot's shooting with the High Evolutionary with Star-Lord, or at everybody, and his arm, the roots come out. He's like with the guns shooting, and he takes Star-Lord's guns, gives them to him. And he's like, "I am Groot," and just shooting everything. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then they jump down, and he swoops in and has wings. Groot has some wings now. It's awesome. And before I go, I have to mention the end credit scenes. I have to mention these before I go. So, the future and the end credit scene. So the end credit scene, you see the new Guardians, which is Adam Warlock, Rocket, Groot, Alpha Groot is big now, Kraglin, Cosmo. Was Cosmo there? Cosmo, and the little guy with Adam Warlock, the little brown, weird, silly dude that was with Adam Warlock, and the girl with Chakotay Wuji, the High Evolutionary bad guy, whose name is Quasar. I don't know what her name is. They said called her by a different name, but her name in the comics is Quasar. They're doing the Quasar character in the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's neat that she joined, but I don't know what they're gonna do, because they played "Come and Get Your Love Again," that song, and which made me a little tingly inside, and they played that song again, and that was the end credit scene. And the first word that Rocket ever said in his life was "hurts," and his last word was "word." He goes, "Word." So that was kind of cool when you see a nice epic shot of the new Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the final post-credit scene was a little bit weird, because I heard some theories going around that there might be a Kang variant in here. But you just see Star-Lord with his grandpa eating Magic Spoon cereal with a newspaper that says "Alien Abduction, Kevin Bacon, Alien Abduction," that his grandpa's reading on the newspaper. And he's like, "I don't understand why I have to mow the grass when the neighbor kid's sitting out there." Like the kid sitting out there, and people. I saw Sean Chandler say, "Was the neighbor kid a Kang variant?" That's interesting. Could have been cut because of the whole Jonathan Majors thing, but I don't know. I'm glad they didn't have anything that tied into that, because I love that this was truly a Guardians of the Galaxy ending. It really felt good to me. It really felt good that they took their time to make this a Guardians 3 ending film, cohesive, because the current MCU, I don't have an issue with it like I do Star Wars. If you've heard my issue with Star Wars in my video with my friend, I have my issue with Star Wars going on. The MCU is a little bit jumbled, but I think it would have been a bigger issue if they included, say, "Hey guys, there's a Kang variant in there." They would have been so disjointed and been like, "Wait, but you messed up the Guardians." That didn't have anything to do with the Guardians, so it didn't need to be there. I'm glad it didn't. But the future is, if you didn't hear me talk about this with my friend, the Marvels I have a little bit of interest in. I have a little bit of interest in Cap 4, but those are the two I'm iffy on, are the Marvels and Cap 4. I want to see them, but I'm iffy on them. The ones I'm excited for, really excited, are Blade, Deadpool 3, and Thunderbolts. And then we're getting Fantastic Four, which just is a new Fantastic Four movie, and then the two Avengers movies. So if they don't pay off those, the Fantastic Four and then the two Avengers, then at that point I'm like, the Multiverse Saga was a fail. But I'm iffy right now. Like, we're getting into the point where Secret Invasion and Loki Season 2 are my biggest highlights of this year for Marvel, and except for Guardians 3. Guardians 3 was a highlight, and it's paid off. But Marvels and then Cap 4, I'm like all I'm thinking about, because I'll be at college next year, and all I can think about is me skipping out on Cap 4. But I don't know, because it depends on what movies come out next year, and that's a separate topic for another time. Like, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to go see these, how I'm going to go see it, but I'll have to figure that out. But I'm sorry. I'm rambling on at this point. You probably don't even need to hear me talk about that. You probably at this point on my channel are like, why is he talking about this? Get out of here, kid. No, not really. But I love Guardians 3. It surpassed my expectations. It's a 9 out of 10 movie. As I said with my friend, listen, I'm going to bump it down. Even with my thoughts on with my thoughts on Gamora. I like Gamora in the movie. It was just like, why was she there? But I think it served a purpose. Adam Warlock, even though he was cool, and I want to see him in the future, who knows what we're seeing. Oh, by the way, the movie did end with the legendary Star-Lord will return. So what does that mean? I don't know. What project? Is it going to be Chris Pratt? Is it going to be someone else? We don't know. What project? I don't know. Is Chris Pratt going to show up in the Marvels? Who knows? I'd be excited by it, but that would get my friend interested. But I love Guardians 3. 9 out of 10 for Adam Warlock. It's kind of okay. I loved it. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Have you seen Guardians 3 yet? Saw it already this past weekend, and yeah, this video's out a little late. Or when I typically review it. It's not late. It's just when I put it out for myself and my schedule. Don't forget to stay up to date. I've been so happy that I got to see this movie. Stay up to date on the newest movie, TV show reviews, vlogs, and whatever comes out here on the channel. I know people are a little bit upset. I did get a comment about Lego content, but sorry. This is what I do here on the channel. But don't forget to subscribe and be part of the family, like we do 11 Family, on what I do here, movies and TV show reviews and vlogs. And next month is Across the Spider-Verse, so that's my most anticipated movie of the year. And then we got big movie plans. Summer movies are happening. This is the one that kicked it off, summer movie plans. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me over at Boba Fett Jedi Master, links down below. And as always, don't forget to keep calm, play Lego. Peace out, everyone. See you guys in the next video. Bye.